You know, there's a sheriff's pickup truck. It just fucking ripped past here. Must have been 100 miles an hour. Holy fuck. It scared the shit out of me. Oh. Oh.
So I got itches that scratch, and sometimes I don't got a filter, but I'm so tired of eating all of my misspoken words. I know my disposition gets confusing. My disproportionate reactions fuse when my ego stakes. That's why you wanna come out and play with me, yeah. Stoop down and out, you got me begging for thread to sew this hole up that you ripped in my head. Stupidly think you had it under control. Strapped down to something that you don't understand. Don't know what you were getting yourself into. You should have known secretly. I think you knew. I got some dirt on my shoes. My words can come out as a pistol, and I'm no good at aiming, but I can aim it at you. I know my actions, they make it confusing, but my unstable ways is my solution to even space. That's why you wanna come out and play with me, yeah. Stoop down and out, you got me begging for thread to sew this hole up that you ripped in my head. Stupidly think you had it under control. Strapped down to something that you don't understand. Don't know what you were getting yourself into. You should have known secretly. I think you knew. Secretly, I think you knew. Hold it out. Try to hide it up, but my tracks are better. Hold it out. Try to hide it out, but my tracks are better. Hold it out. Try to hide it out, but my tracks are better. Hold it out. Try to hide it out, but my tracks are better. Stoop down and out, you got me begging for thread to sew this hole up that you ripped in my head. Stupidly think you had it under control.
Good morning. Good morning, boys, girls, men, women, queers, dykes, twinks, non-binaries, trannies of all types, male to female, transitioners, female to male, then back to female again, which are my favorite, by the way. Good morning. We are in Grand Junction, Colorado. And it's a bit late. Shit, damn near 10 o'clock. But there is a reason for that, boys and girls. All according to the plan. And that reason is because it's fucking cold. And we're going up into the mountains where it's even, well, it's, let's call it RFC. That's really fucking cold. It's gonna be fucking cold. So I'm all bundled up. I got 2 layers on underneath, which might actually be too much, but yeah, it kinda, I can feel it already in my wrists. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Tally ho. And then I stall. No, didn't stall. Just kidding. That would be funny though. Would be funny. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. I think I'm going out the end, but that's okay. That's okay. Never let it be said that this is not an all-encompassing, all-inclusive face video vlog thing. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so yesterday we kind of went, whoa, watch out for that guy. We kind of squiggled all the way around Utah, and we started in Cedar City. Am I going the right way? Yeah, I think so. Started in Cedar City and went let's see, east on, not sure what the heck that road was, over these mountains where it was pretty high and pretty damn cold. And then through the sort of southern, sort of central area of the state, through like Escalante, I think that's how you say it, and the Grand Staircase, and through Bryce Canyon, which was really beautiful. There was one of those, yeah, it was pretty darn cool. And that would be Bryce Canyon. I saw this bike trail that's like this nice paved bike trail that goes through this unbelievable park. And man, that'd be an awesome place. I think it would be really good for a road bike. It looks super smooth and like windy and stuff. If the surface was as smooth as it looks, man, that'd be super fun, man. And then yeah, through, yeah, just onto State Route 12, I believe. And yeah, man, some really amazing roads, really amazing. I didn't check my GPS today, so I'm just trusting it's not sending me somewhere dumb. But yeah, and then there were a couple of these sections. One where I went, you're at the sort of summit of this, is it really a summit? Anyway, you're at the top of this climb and there's a lookout, and I was looking down, this road looked awesome, and it was awesome. And I went down, and then I went back up. Again, the thing with I'd rather go up twisties than down. I think most riders are like that. I'm not going to get into that again. Yeah, I mean, the road surface was perfect. The weather was perfect. The surroundings were just next level. I mean, just beautiful. It was awesome. And there was really no traffic congestion to speak of. It was awesome. And I didn't crash. Fuck, man, that was a cherry on top. That was awesome. And what else? Yeah, that was so beautiful. And then I kept going, and then I went through what state park was that? I can't remember. I mean, it was just kind of amazing because, like, the whole fucking state is that sort of picturesque sort of step plateau, like sort of crumbling cliffs, and like that. That is everywhere in southern Utah. It's just everywhere. And then you'll get really special gems where you have I mean, like what we're looking at there. Like, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's just shockingly beautiful. But then you'll have like in Bryce Canyon, you'll have like other little not turning yet, other little gems that are sort of different geologic features, and it's fucking incredible. And the air is so clear, you can see for so far. We're gonna go up that mountain, boys and girls. It's gonna be fucking cold as fuck. Maybe not that one, but I mean, we're gonna be getting up to I mean, for sure over 9,000 feet, which we did yesterday, and that was no problem. But I don't know. I think the weather's gonna be a little bit cooler, and we're just gonna have to see what happens. Yeah, and then what else? Yeah, then I just hopped on the Interstate 70 and just blasted here into Colorado, and so I'll be able to get that sticker. That's kind of a fun game. I didn't really think it would be as much as it kind of is, because somebody told me, they're like, oh, you should get one of those, when you got to get one of those America sticker things. And I'm like, that's fucking, I don't need that shit, man. I don't need that shit, you know. I know. And then I got one, and it's kind of fun because it'll start conversations and stuff, and like it's kind of fun, and you're like, oh, I can get another sticker, and it's a fun game, and it's kind of cool. But I mean, it's a fucking, like, it's a tough fucking game. That game is hard. The game is a pain in the ass. Oh my goodness, it's tough. Yeah, so hopefully I left sort of late enough for things to warm up. I know that one of the towns, maybe I already said that, one of the towns I'm going through, I checked the weather, and they all said sunny, so I should be good in terms of rain. But one of them said, like, the high today was 42. The fucking high. And like, yeah, RFC. I'm just, but other areas around, the highs are like in the 50s, and like I can manage that, you know. I can work with that. But in the fucking 40s, dude, that's tough. That's tough. But stayed at the oh, what the fuck is going on there? Oh, sweet blankie, dude. I don't know what's going on there. I stayed at the, I guess, the Quality Inn. Yeah, not bad. Places like that. I mean, the Quality Inn, that's the kind of place where it's really not that bad. The worst, you know, basically, I'm the kind of guy that you got to worry about when you stay in a place like that, which isn't that bad, but like, you know, that's my idea of moderately clean. You know, like the places you really got to worry about are the places that like I'm not the nastiest fucker in there. Like, those places are, you got to steer well clear of those places. But they had a free hot breakfast, and there was a free hot chicken yoga pants standing in front of me. at the buffet. God damn it! I don't know whether she was free or not. Free in terms of liberty. I'm not sure what was going on there. I think it's pretty safe to say that guy is not in a great situation. There's nothing I can do to help him. Yeah, man, fuck, man, I just can't. Those fucking yoga pants, especially the ones that are like, they're stitched in just the right. I mean, oh my god. And I'm just standing there like trying not to. I mean, sort of trying not to look, but like I'm aware. I mean, that's a time where like the whole the joke of the fucking retarded mustache and the mullet with a bald spot on my head, like that's the time where that shit's not funny, man. It's not funny. You know, looking at a hot 24-year-old girl and looking like that, man, like in my fucking camo slippers. That just looks bad, man. Like, it's just bad. Fuck. Oh my goodness. But, you know, it's not my fault. I didn't put those fucking pants on her. She did. It's not my fault. Anyway, don't you fucking do it, man. So yeah, we're gonna be getting up pretty high today, and hopefully we don't freeze. Speaking of high, as I'm sure you all know, many of you know, so Colorado a few years ago kind of got some notoriety among potheads and pothead hopefuls alike for legalization of recreational marijuana. And that lets me bounce back to a previous discussion that was about, man, I still kind of I didn't have way too many beers, but I had enough to where, like, you really like fresh air. You ever, like, you drink that much where I'm like, I'm not sick, but like, I'm like breathing in that cool fresh air, and it's like I can't get enough of it. Oh my goodness. But sort of brings me back to a previous discussion. I mentioned, where I mentioned, you know, drugs, contraband, to be more broad. I think that's the best way to put it, or what the best thing to call it, contraband. And like how that's fucked up. And I think when I was younger, I was never, especially when I was a desperate pothead, I didn't, you know, I sort of, that's at least one of the liberal ideologies that I subscribe to, and we'll get into the whole political alignment and assignment of ideologies and how they switch around and stuff like that, because that's an interesting discussion too. Maybe I can, if I don't forget to come back to it, I'll come back to it. But the idea that you can get arrested, you're a criminal if you put chemicals in your body, bad or good. Some chemicals are bad, but they're okay. Or if a doctor prescribes it, or you know. So yeah, it's kind of crazy where the hell that sort of comes from. So I mean, years ago I sort of you know, I would have been in favor. I was in favor of legalization of such drugs like marijuana, but I would have, oh no, look, it's another Connie 14. Look at that. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. His bike's just like my bike. So I would have said, like, you know, you're gonna have, if you just legalize all drugs like like some of the liberals would want, or like the libertarians have always wanted, you know, you're gonna introduce some, even if that's even if that's the right thing to do in terms of freedom and liberty and you know, personal individual rights. Even if that's the right thing to do, you're likely gonna introduce a lot of social economic problems if you do that. That's what I would have said, and I think I would have been right to a degree. This piece of shit car in front of me, I don't like it. You can get the fuck away from it. They look like they're one of those, oh, look at that, there's an Audi S4 wagon. Sweet. I would have been like, yeah, legalize drugs, then people can do what they want and they can be free, but isn't that going to cause a fucking bunch of problems? Like, aren't people just going to, like, just, you know what I mean? Then people that want to get high won't have any, you'll remove some barriers that people that would get fucking jacked out of their mind, that currently don't, then would. And I've basically since sort of switched my stance on that. For one, I don't think that they will. I think that people that want to get their fucking brain jacked up, they are doing it. They're just doing it through sort of illegitimate means or whatever, or however you want to describe it. And the other thing is, and the more important issue is like, who the fuck cares? Suppose you did legalize all drugs, and it did cause a bunch of socioeconomic problems. Suppose that was true. Well, so fucking what? You know what I mean? That's the price. That's you know, that's part of a free society, and that's kind of that's where I'm at now, and I don't expect I'm ever going to change. And it's, in some respects, it's where I've always been, but I've that's where I'm at now. So the idea that, and I think that stems generally from right, a libertarian ideology about your civil liberties and your rights, and how the legal system, the justice system, should be formed around it. So the only things that should be considered criminal, with few exceptions, well, with a handful of exceptions, I guess I should say, are when you infringe on somebody else's rights. So what the fuck, you know, you've heard the phrase victimless crimes, and like, yeah, it's nonsense, it's craziness. We need the justice system. We need legislation in place to protect people from one another, protect people's rights from being infringed on by other people and by the government. And so, yeah, if you stick with that, the concept of contraband, or the concept of controlled substances, is fucking madness. It's madness, and beyond madness, it's a huge waste, or maybe I should just say, it's a huge expense of taxpayer dollars. Those look like the Rocky Mountains up there, and I'm kind of worried that it's going to be cold. I'm going to go way up in there, and it's going to be freezing. We're just going to go for it today, boys and girls. If it gets too cold and I can't hack it, then I'm not going to make it to Albuquerque, which is where I'm headed, by the way. It should take about 8 hours to get there. Well, 7 according to this, but there's going to be stops and all that sort of thing. But you know, I was looking at pictures of some of these towns, and I know where I'm going, and I checked at some of these towns what the elevation is, and it's not like crazy high. It's like 6, 7, 8,000 feet elevation, which I was at yesterday, and the temperatures don't look too out of this world at the towns that I could check. But I don't know. I don't know all the details about all of these, all the areas I'm going to be going through. So we're going to be exposed to an element of risk here. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't somewhat nervous about it. Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the long and short about contraband and why, you know, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. If you're not infringing on somebody else's rights, what exactly is the reason for the restriction? If it has something to do with environment or something like that, you know, then we can have a discussion about what you can and can't do, can and can't have. But otherwise, I don't see it. Now, bouncing back, I mentioned, you know, that this was a sort of a liberal or a democratic philosophy, at least with regard to recreational marijuana. And so this is an interesting concept. Which ideologies align with which political party and how that changes over time. So, yeah, I had a hell of a time with it when I was in high school. I remember like the student whatever you call it, where you have some of the students are elected to do, well, they don't actually do anything, and the student body, I don't know, whatever, but like there was like a debate between the Republican students and the Democrat students, and like they were just like I think that there was a general debate on, you know, which party is better for you know, who you should vote for based on which party is better or whatever. In any case, all I can remember from that and from news or social studies or whatever was like not really understanding what the fucking difference is. Is that snow or salt? Can't be snow, right? Can't be. It makes me really worried. Well, it's actually kind of encouraging because I feel reasonably comfortable right now, and if that's snow, that means I can do it. Right, so the idea that liberals want to say, okay, we should have looser restrictions on drugs because you should be able to do what you want with your life. And liberals would say, well, we should be looser with restrictions on, say, abortion terms, because, you know, that's a woman's body and a woman's choice. Now, I know that it doesn't strictly break down like that, and that's part of the argument, but so then you think, okay, well, yeah, liberals, you know, and that's where we maybe get into sort of classical liberalism. Liberals are like, yeah, I mean, they want you to have liberty and be free. But then you have like the fucking crime bill, which was fostered by Democrats in the 1990s, and gun control is always coming from the left. And it's like, well, wait a minute though, isn't like owning guns like that's your freedom, it's your liberty, you know? Don't you need, you know, aren't weapons needed for security of a free state and a free person and stuff? Isn't that what that's about? And man, this is just not a bright and sunny day, dude. It is not. And you look at the Republican side, and Republicans are like, you know, we need small government. You hear that all the time. We need to fight big government. We want small government so you can live your life. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Wasn't I hearing that kind of thing from the Democrats? And we want to, we want smaller government, and you pay less in taxes, so that you have, you know, we're not supporting so much welfare, and, you know, we're not supporting a welfare state. And it's like, okay, well, that sounds like, you know, individual agency and personal liberty and stuff like that. So, you know, it wasn't clear to me, you know, when I was a kid, which one is team fucking liberty, you know. And it kind of depends. And the thing is, it kind of depends on what you want. And it might sound like I'm a Republican, and that's, you know, I'm not. I'm not. At the moment, in the current woke political climate, I'd say the Republicans are the winners. The Republicans have the moral and political superiority, but that's only for the time being. That's only because there are a good handful of liberal left that are just fucking insane, and so the AOCs and the Nancy Pelosi's and the fucking president of the United, or I should say former Vice President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and right, all these people look really, really bad because they're just really far left, and the currently those from the left in the sort of picture and in the Biden administration are pretty deeply hypocritical on a lot of their policies. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Republicans aren't. I'm just saying that Republicans aren't the majority right now. The Republicans aren't in office right now, and that's a lot of the reason. I think that I would also add that when the Republicans are the majority, you still don't see as much. You don't see as strong fucking nonsense and hypocrisy from the right when they're in the majority as we're seeing right now from the left. Like the shit about filibuster and making Washington D.C. a state because they deserve it, and you know, if you don't already know why Washington D.C. shouldn't be a state, boys and girls, well, it's because no state should have influence over the federal government and its processes. That's why D.C. never was a state. But the Democrats want it to be a state now because most of the residents are Democrats, and they'd get 2 more seats in the Senate, and they would almost definitely go to the Democrats. Shit like that, yeah. The filibuster and just shit that. And packing the courts, and they'll, you know, it's anyway, I don't have to get into that anymore, but it's confusing because you don't know, because classical liberalism was more aligned with libertarianism. Jesus, this road fucking sucks. What are you guys doing? Did you just put blacktop on the dirt? Just like, let's lay a bunch of blacktop down on the dirt. Yeah, but isn't that gonna just be like a fucking shitty, dirty shit road? Fuck. What the fuck, dicks? What was I saying? Kinda doesn't matter, but right, so classical liberalism was more like what we know as today as libertarianism. And Republicans were more, you know, about God and guns and religion and shit, and, you know, which is also wrong, which is also sort of, you know, contradictory to what I thought, what often Republicans claim to be for, which is like, you know, live your own fucking life. Oh, but unless you're gay, then you can't. And so, like, they want you to, you know, you'll hear today on Fox News these Republicans saying, like, shit about liberty, shit about civil liberties, and being, you know, and liberals creating legislation to take away your freedom. They'll talk about all this shit, but then they won't support gay marriage. And never mind gay marriage, like, the Republicans want marriage to be, sacred between a man and a woman, and to still have some, to still be sort of legally defined by the government. When really what we should be saying is, oh yeah, that whole marriage thing where you get like a marriage license, and you're legally married and all that. Like, not only should gay people be allowed to do that, but in fact, we're going to take the government out of it completely. Why the fuck aren't we saying that? Why aren't we saying, oh yeah, the whole marriage thing, yeah, do it if you want, do it if you don't, do it if you want, don't if you don't, whatever. But the government is no longer going to recognize married peoples. Why don't we do that? That makes the most sense to me. But Republicans, the freedom lovers, as we sort of know them in the current age, or as they claim to be in the current age, they don't want that. Like, what the fuck? So it's just like, it's fucking madness. What the fuck is going? What are you fucking thinking about? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and every time, and most recently, and I'm not saying, man, I'm jumping all over the place in my thoughts, not only on the road. Shit, what was I trying to say? And the Republicans aren't always wrong when, or I should say, the Republicans are often right when they're saying stuff about that liberals are taking away your freedom and shit. Because like all I've heard since Joe Biden was campaigning, which is just fucking it was just ridiculous. I'm not saying that Donald Trump is some great man, but he's probably the best president of our time, which is not a fucking high bar. I'm still not saying that Donald Trump is a great man, but like, all I'm saying is it doesn't take a fucking saint to be the best president in a modern age. All you have to do is like not lie and cheat and steal so fucking much, and that would make you the best president. So, Donald Trump, the arrogant fucking cheater and liar that he is, being the best president. Yeah, I'm saying a lot. But I'm getting off topic here. But it seems like now, more than ever before, it seems like now more than ever before, liberals want to just solve everything with legislation. Well, I say that. Liberals, like in the executive seat, they want to bypass legislation altogether and just throw fucking executive orders at everything, bypassing legislation, imposing further restrictions on gun rights and taxes and health care and all this fucking shit. My point is I just generally think that it should be looked at very carefully, and only for the most special circumstances impose legislation impose legislation. Liberals, they just want to make more fucking laws. Well, let's just make a law that forces that forces people to do this. Let's make a law that forces people to do that. Well, these people don't like it when those people do this, so let's make a fucking law that prevents them from doing it. Well, are those people infringing on that other population's rights? No, but they just don't like it, so we'll just make a law that says that they can't do that. Well, what the fuck? And like, well, people don't earn enough money. The economy's in a bad spot, and people don't earn enough money. Huh. Well, assuming that that's true, and I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, but assuming that that's true, what are we going to do about it as liberals? Well, let's make a fucking law. What? What the fuck are you going to... What? Yeah, let's just raise the minimum wage and make it a law. Like, well, it's wishful thinking, but like, how the fuck is that going to make anything better? Well, then, because people have to get paid more. The minimum wage fucking situation is hilarious. You got fucking millionaires in Washington saying they're just going to give you more money. And that's the other thing that liberals do, is they just say they're going to give away free money, and vote for me and I'll give you some free money. And yeah, that's bad. I'm in the process of explaining why, but yeah, let's just make some laws so that you get paid more money. And they don't. I think that legislators and politicians either don't think about it, or they do, but they just use it as a platform to get elected. And I mean, if that were the case, then they would just say they were gonna impose, they were gonna enact more legislation, and then not actually do it, which is what I'm hoping is the case. But so far, it's not been that way historically. Yeah, so just pay people, raise the minimum wage. Of course, what that does is that just makes it more difficult for businesses to operate. So, for example, you got 3 people working for you, and you pay each of them $10 an hour, and maybe one of them's worth $16 an hour, the other one of them is worth maybe $14 an hour, and the other one is worth $11 an hour. And then you raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and then what did look like an employee, he was pretty much making it and covering it, covering his own cost. Now you basically made him unemployable because he costs too much. You're forcing an employer to pay him more than he's worth, and so the employer, instead of increasing this guy's pay and say, "Oh, good for you, little guy. You're a little guy who's only worth $11 an hour," or whatever I said. You get more money now. Like, fucking no. The employer just fucking says, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Benny. You're not worth it. I gotta let you go." Worried about what that fucker's gonna do. And and that's not exactly what happens in every single case, but in large part that's the impact on the economy, is that employers are going to try and solve this problem of manpower being too expensive, and they're going to try and solve it. And we see that in the checkout aisles of grocery stores. They have automated checkouts. We see that everywhere that you can automate something, they're going to automate it, and everywhere that you can't, they're gonna fucking squeeze the shit out of their employees, to the point where if you are not worth, if your labor or your work or your contribution is not worth the minimum wage, you don't have a job. It's just that fucking simple. And if you didn't already know, boys and girls, let me tell you, yeah, it sucks having a job and not making enough money. But not enough money is more money than fucking no money. And what are we going to do? I mean, I guess the liberals, in a sense, although I haven't heard explicitly, the liberals have a plan for those people that aren't employable because they're not worth their minimum wage, and we'll just pay them fucking welfare. We'll just pay them. We'll just support those people on the backs of the taxpayers, and instead of having them work for a lower wage and increase their skill, increase their aptitude, increase their abilities, they're gonna fucking sit at home and get fatter and dumber and not grow. And now there's a bigger gap to actually get into an employment situation that is more fruitful than a minimum wage. Now that gap is really hard to jump, because you got to go from no fucking job to a high-paying job. You have to go from very little value added as an employee to higher value added as an employee. I don't know how else to spell it. If you can see it, if there's maybe I'm wrong, if there's some other argument out there that makes sense, that refutes what I'm saying, or maybe repudiates is the better word. Maybe there's an argument out there and I just haven't heard it. Let me know. What the fuck? How am I wrong? There should be no minimum wage. Yeah, but then there would be people that don't get paid very much. I realize that. But those are people that would otherwise be unemployed altogether. Yes, there are exceptions, but and as far as the community or the society as a whole, we suffer for the reasons I explained, which is you have people that won't grow. They can't go up the ladder. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't contribute very much, and they never will. You know, they have disabilities, or they're just low aptitude, or whatever. And in their life, they never will. And maybe they'll never get above. They'll never produce value to an employee, or excuse me, they'll never produce value to an employer above minimum wage, or very, very much above minimum wage. There's going to be people. There's going to be examples like that. But you're for the, I would say, the vast majority, that's not the case. And it damages the system to basically have a bar that's too high, and you in essence you retard the advancement and the growth of individuals that start in lower positions. You know, I've worked as a dishwasher. I didn't work for very long as a dishwasher. I worked as a dishwasher at a local restaurant for minimum wage. At the time, I believe it was $5.15 an hour. And I suspect if that minimum wage wasn't in place, that employer would have wanted to pay me less than that. You know, would that have been fair? I mean, in essence, what I'm saying is that would have been fair, because I could have said, well, fuck you, I want more than that. I mean, I probably wouldn't have if he'd have said, here, look, here, $4 an hour, that's all you're getting. Take it or leave it. Shit. Am I turning here? I guess I am. Did I miss something? I think this connects up with another road. Maybe I missed a turn. I wasn't paying attention. I don't think I did, but whatever. I should probably switch to my warm gloves because my hands are getting kind of cold. I'm really worried that I'm going to end up in those fucking mountains and it's going to be freezing. And I'm just going to have to go for it. It's not raining. If it started to rain, then I'd really be in some shit. I don't think it's going to rain. Fuck, man. I shouldn't even say it. Jesus. Yeah, so that's the whole... I think that's all I had to really say about the minimum wage thing. And it's, yes, it sucks that some people don't make very much money and perhaps don't make enough money. That sucks. Do I think that we should work together to fix that? I mean, maybe. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if that's something that we need to work together to fix. But if you are, if it is something that we should work together to fix, then I will still say that raising the minimum wage is not the way to do it. You know, if you're, you know, you've heard the expression, teach a man to fucking fish. You know, that's what you need to fucking do. There are places, there are organizations, you know, most of them are like local kind of organizations, right, that like help with job training. I think it's called Job Corps and stuff like that, right? Those kind of organizations, at least in concept, those are the kind of things that are helpful. You know, you teach somebody how to provide for themselves. You don't just give them a fucking handout, because other people are paying for that fucking handout. And that's not, you know, that's not how, you know, it's not fair, for one, and for two, even if it was, it's not sustainable. You can't, you're not making an improvement. You're not making the situation better for those who are sort of members of that fucking handout, who are receiving the fucking handout. You're not making their lives better. Now, having said all that, I do understand that there are people that are in a situation of genuine hardship, and sometimes through no fault of their own. You know, I understand that, and I'm not saying that those people should be ignored. You know, I'm saying that the answer isn't more welfare state. I'm saying that the answer is not more more taxes and more stimulus, you know what I mean? At this point, I'm just trying to fucking prevent it from getting worse. Yeah, so just don't want to make the welfare state worse. I was on a sidebar, or maybe somewhat of a tangent, if you will, not really a tangent. So I was reading Ted Nugent's book, which is not really, that was years ago, and I didn't actually get through the whole thing. But there was a good excerpt excerpt that was, I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Davy Crockett or some politician. Davy Crockett was a politician, right? I always get Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone mixed up. Am I the only one? Anyway, there was some politician, and one of the citizens basically met him on the steps of the Capitol building, or in whatever state that it was. I think it was in the South. It was like Kentucky or Mississippi, or I don't know. And this this citizen was like, you know, I think, or maybe the politician approached the citizen. I can't remember who initiated the discussion. But in any case, the politician was like, so I mean, are you going to vote for? I hope that you vote for me in the next term. You know, what are the critical issues, or you know, can I rely on your vote, or some other shit like that? And the guy was like, no, I'm not going to vote for you because you supported a bill that provided aid to one of these cities that was a neighboring city to the city where the citizen resided. You voted for a bill to give aid to this city that burned down in a fucking wildfire, or was lost in a flood, or some shit like that. People lost a lot of people died, and other people lost their homes and shit like that. I think some guy lost his dog. But he's like, yeah, that wasn't fucking cool, man. That's gay. That was my tax dollars, and you just gave them away. What the fuck, dick? And in this day and age, we think, wow, that's what? Like, he did a good thing. But the really important point here was that this the important point that this citizen was trying to make. Careful about this fucking guy. He doesn't look like he's gonna stop. Was, look, the government, those people, you know, without doubt, they were in need. They had a crisis. They were in need. You know, charity would have been their, in their time of need, charity would have been of the utmost importance. However, it's not the fucking government's job to give charity. And this is so critical. This is what people fail to fucking recognize, you know, especially liberals, but Republicans too, is that, well, they just want the government to solve it. Ignoring like, if we just ignore for a second, even if that was a sound philosophy, that the government fucks it up every fucking time, without exception almost. The government fucks it up every time. But even if they didn't, they miss the point that the government does not have the function of charity, of redistribution of wealth or funds. You know, tax dollars were used to allow for the necessary function of government and nothing more. And so this is a really good point, and I think it's a lot of mostly liberals, but Republicans too, that think, well, like I was saying before, like, that population has a fucking problem, and that population is well, they're making the problem. Well, maybe they're not making the problem, but they could fix it. So I'm going to take money away from them and give it to them, because that's what that's what they need, and they're going to get the government to do it. And when in reality, look at yourself, look at your life, look at your fucking bank balance and your wallet. If you feel bad for those people, the people whose town was lost in a flood or a fire or whatever, get out your fucking checkbook and write them a fucking check. Why do why should the government be in charge of fleecing your wallet and deciding where the funds go? And by the way, you don't know where they go, and by the way, they're gonna fuck it up in the process, because they're made up of a bunch of bureaucrats and dickheads that get paid regardless of whether or not they do a good job. And that's the nature of the government and government jobs, and I don't know how to fix it. And until I do, let's minimize the number of let's minimize the number of roles in government, or I should say minimize the number of roles in government. The fuck. I think it's pretty simple, but compared to a lot of the ideologies that we see in Washington, and frankly in the minds of most Americans that I know, I must be a fucking genius. I should be awarded the Nobel Prize for such a thought like that. If you want to help somebody, write a fucking check, man. If you want, I don't get it. I guess the crux of it is they don't want to give charity to a population in need. They want somebody else to do it. But what that does, and I can understand how that works in some applications. People that are genuinely down and out and in need, through no fault of their own, in isolated cases. But you can imagine what the fuck happens when you keep doing this, and then when it becomes so common and widespread that everybody's getting a check from the government, and everybody's paying all their money to the government. And so and ultimately what happens is you're going to see recession, depression, or just outright collapse, because you remove everybody's incentive to fucking do anything. Not unlike a government job itself, and that's essentially what every person's role in an economy becomes when you don't keep your own money and you don't reap the benefits of your labor, and you don't get to choose what charities you subscribe to, and which ones you don't. So then you lose all agency, and literally in your fucking being on the fucking earth. And so it's like, why fucking bother? You could probably, I could imagine, what if you're at this or a similar vantage point when you were one of the first ones crossing the country by wagon, and you see those fucking mountains, and you're like, then that's not even really the Rockies. I guess that's the Rocky Mountains, right? But of course, we're in Colorado, those are the fucking Rockies. But you see that, and I guess unless you can get around them, you gotta go through that shit, and you just gotta feel like, I'm fucked. I can just see you, like, you're just standing there with your fucking musket and like your bag of fucking corn and your rough leathery wife, and just stand there and just like, oh, I'm fucked. Like, man, that would be rough. I wonder where did some of those, like the Donner Party, where did that happen? I want to say that happened in I'm not really sure, actually. I don't want to speculate. I don't think I'm gonna be forced to, eat my own dick or whatever. It wouldn't provide for a very substantial meal anyway. Oh my goodness.